everyone, and welcome to the RV Inspection and Care podcast and video. I'm Dwayne. I'm a certified RV inspector, and today we're going to be talking about RV generators, and specifically about what size generator you need for your RV. Now, RVs use multiple sources of power, and one source is the batteries that's in your RV and the 12-volt direct current that comes from the batteries. Now, they can run a lot of things. Honestly, they can run your lights, your refrigerator, your water heater, your furnace in many RVs. The problem with battery power is that when power moves out, you have to somehow replace that power, and that's called recharging the batteries. There's multiple ways of doing that too. First of all, you can just plug your RV into a pedestal at an RV park or campground, and then you'll get 120 volt power coming in that your RV can convert to 12 volt power to charge your batteries. That's a great way. But you could also just have solar panels on your roof, and they can regularly charge your batteries as well. But there is a third option here, and that is having a generator on hand. Now, shore power or pedestal power and a generator, they have a very unique capability though, and that is they can do more than just recharge batteries. They can also run 120 volt items or components in your RV on a continual basis. What does that include? Well, it includes anything you plug into the wall sockets in your RV. It would include your air conditioners because they only run on AC power, and it would include your microwave. So, if your batteries are low in power and you don't have any pedestal power or solar to recharge them, then a generator is a very good option to have. Now, you may not use them very much if you're parked in an RV park or campground pretty much all the time. However, it still could be a good choice because there could be times when the power goes out in the park or campground and you would still have a power source if you have a generator. Well then, having covered all of that, let's talk about the sizes out there and what you could use for your RV. And here's the point. What I want you to understand is that the size of the generator depends mainly on what you want it to do or to accomplish. Keep this rule in mind though. The more power that you want to consume at one time in your RV, the bigger generator, the heavier it's going to be, and most likely more costly as well. So that's the way things work. Now, let's talk about the power requirements, though, of RVs these days. And actually, RVs come in two kinds of electrical services. The first is a 30 amp RV. The second is a 50 amp RV. Now, we don't want to get too heavily into electrical terms here, but let's just use a couple of figures so that we can compare what we're talking about, because generators are sold by the watts that they produce. So let's find out how many watts are in a 30 amp or a 50 amp RV. If you have a 30 amp RV, well, then generally at 120 volts of power, you're going to have a maximum capability of 3,600 watts of power that you can consume at one time simultaneously. 3,600 watts. If you have a 50 amp RV, well, it's a lot more powerful, and it has an advantage over the 30 amp RV because 30 amp RVs only have one line of power coming in. That's it. 50 amp RVs have 2 lines of 120 volt power coming in. That gives them a maximum of 12,000 watts of power that you can use simultaneously without overloading the electrical service. And quite frankly, 50 amps of power, that's just more than most people are ever going to use. So that 12,000 watts is a very high ceiling. All right, now keep in mind then, 30 amp RVs max out at 3,600 watts of power. 50 amp RVs max out at 12,000 watts of capability. Now, let's talk about 3 different scenarios of RVers and what they want to accomplish. RVer number 1 just wants a generator that's going to recharge their batteries. That's all they want. The way they look at it is, hey, I only boondock for a few days at a time. I don't care about running anything other than what comes off my batteries. So in that case, that's all they want, a generator to recharge batteries. RVer number 2 wants to do a little more. They want to recharge batteries, but they want to have the capability of running 1 air conditioner just in case. RVer number 3 has a 50 amp RV and they want to run everything that they normally run on pedestal power as well. All right, so let's start with RVer number 1. He just wants to recharge batteries for his RV. To do that, all you need is a 2,000 watt generator. If you run it for an hour or 2 in the morning, an hour or 2 in the evening, it will keep your batteries charged and you can just stay out there off grid, not plugged into anything, and you'll be fine. But RVer number 2 wants to do more. They want to recharge their batteries, but if it gets hot, they want to be able to turn on an air conditioner and run it for as long as they want. To do that, you're going to need a bigger generator. You're going to need something in the area of 3,000 to 3,600 watts of generator. Now remember, the 30 amp RV has a maximum of 3,600 watts. So if you have a 3,600 watt generator, well then it can actually replace shore power for you if you're off boondocking. Now, RVer number 3, though, has that 50 amp RV with all that capability, that 12,000 watts that could be consumed, and they want to run everything they normally run when they're plugged into pedestal power. Well, in that case, do they really need a 12,000 watt generator? Because that's the capability of the RV. No, not really. Because remember, we talked about that's more power than most people will ever use at one time. If you take a look at 50 amp RVs coming out of the factory where they have installed a generator in it, usually you're going to see something around 8,000 watts of generator to be able to power that 50 amp RV. And honestly, with 8,000 watts, you can usually do almost anything that you would normally do when you're plugged into pedestal power. But keep in mind that when you get up to 8,000 watts of generator, you're getting into a very big one, a very heavy one, and an expensive generator. And so that's why manufacturers don't give you a portable 8,000 watt generator. They install one right in your RV, and usually it's made by Onan. They are the ones that really produce a lot of built-in RV generators. However, let's get back to the point. You don't have to buy a generator that big to do what you may want. If you want to just recharge batteries, even in a 50 amp RV, A 2,000 watt generator will do that and do it fine. If you only want to run one air conditioning unit in addition to that, well, then a 3,000 to 3,600 watt generator will accomplish that. If you want to run everything, well, then in a 30 amp RV, 3,600 watt generators will do that. In a 50 amp RV, 8,000 watts will do the job pretty well for you. All right, so hopefully that gives you something to work with on the size. Now, one more thing I do want to share with you, and that is if you're going to get a portable generator, be sure to get an inverter generator. Don't be one of those RVers that takes a construction generator out camping with you. Those come in a frame, and they're very loud, and they usually don't produce very clean electricity either. But if you get an inverter generator, then the noise level drops tremendously. Your neighbors are going to thank you for that, for not having a construction generator out there. And you're also going to get clean power that can be used for your sensitive electronics. Well, I hope this video has been helpful for you. Hopefully what I've been able to do is help you learn more about power requirements in RVs and what size generator can be used to accomplish various things. And hopefully this will help you choose the generator that's going to do the best job for the way that you use your RV. And that's it for now. Have safe and happy travels, my friends. Until next time.